Hello, it is day 28. It's day 28 and I am curled up on my couch um, under my favorite new thing, the weighted, heated blanket. Oh my God, it's the best thing ever. I don't know what took me so long to get one of these. The window's open, which is why you can hear the dogs barking and whatnot, but it's actually nice to be kind of in the cold air, the window open, because it's a little chilly now under this warm cloud. But it's a Saturday and I'm tucked in like this because I have now reached the point in this process where I can add a new element to this log, and that is that I will now be exploring the vagaries of menstruating with a balloon inside of you. So far, what I know is you cannot take ibuprofen, Motrin, any of those things that you would take, any of the things that you would take normally for the pain, that I would take normally for the pain that I get. It's sort of, I want to say cramping, but I also get this sort of dull pain that just stays through my period for like a couple of days. That's different from the cramping that kind of comes and goes. This dull pain is there. And that's what I have right now. That's why I'm just trying to relax and cuddle with a nice big cup of tea and chill. Watch a movie. I might bring a book over here and just, this is my Saturday. My fiance was like, "What are you gonna do today?" And I was like, "You're looking at it." I don't have any plans. I'm not going anywhere. It's chilly outside, and I feel like this. Yeah, it's just a dull pain on the left-ish side of my abdomen. I haven't eaten anything today. Just drank the tea. I have an observation about that. But I'm probably not going to eat too much. In general, my cycle is that I don't get too hungry the first couple of days, and then my hunger comes back towards the end. So I probably won't eat too much the next 2 or 3 days. But dealing with this pain is going to be weird. So, heating blankets and heating pads or those kinds of things always help a little bit. So I'm going to stay under here for that relief. I'm going to keep drinking tea. And I took some acetaminophen because you can take aspirin, acetaminophen you can take when you have the balloon. But throughout the time you have the balloon, you cannot take those other things. Apparently they coat your stomach. So the Motrin, the ibuprofen, the other medications I normally would take to get rid of this pain in my abdomen, I cannot. And I took an acetaminophen maybe 30 minutes ago. It wasn't so long ago. So yeah, maybe 30 minutes ago. And it hasn't kicked in yet, or it ain't strong enough. So 6 months of this is not going to be fun at all. Day one and day two are usually my toughest days. Thank goodness this time it falls on a weekend. So I could be here and not be at work trying to deal with this. But day one and day two are usually the toughest ones for me. I will say I have fibroid history and I've had a myomectomy. So I generally have, that's too much information. Anyway, that's so the next couple of days I may be talking about what it's like to go through your period with the balloon inside of you. The first important thing is that you can't take the meds you would normally take. I would normally take. But food portions. Okay, so yesterday I ate only vegan, and I basically just ate one thing. I had some of it in the morning for breakfast, and then I went to work. I normally would not have worked that day, but one of my guys needed me for something, so I went in. When I came back home around lunchtime, I didn't eat right away, but then like mid-afternoon, I ate basically the rest of the vegan thing that I had made. There was no animal products in it whatsoever. And yet I got bloated at the end of the day. I had that big pregnancy belly again, kind of like what happened to me when I had the pea soup. I say that it's like that time because The next day, I didn't actually have the runs, which is what happened to me when I ate the fish, the eggs, the cheese, the meat. So now I see, okay, there are times when I'm going to get really, really bloated like that, but it won't lead to that third step, which is like the grossest step. But it will be the discomfort, a little bit of the heartburn, just the gas trying to release the bloating. It just comes up out of you again without warning. It just and then the not being able to lay fully flat, that you sort of need to stay propped up. Yesterday, I wanted to actually sleep in here in my living room on my chaise-longue like this, sort of propped up. But I thought I had got enough gas out of me. I thought it was like, okay, excuse me, I feel like a burp is coming. But, excuse me. But by the time I got, but I think I was like watching something and I was like, okay, so I feel better now. I'll wait till this ends and then I'll go to bed. And then I went to bed and I thought I was fine. But I got up for something like an hour and a half later and like the burps just erupted out of me. So I realized like, oh, my stomach had not settled yet. It was still giving bloat, still building bloat. And so when I got up, it was like, again, just exploding. I hadn't eaten anything that would normally irritate my stomach, and I hadn't eaten anything that has been irritating my stomach on the balloon. So my new revelation is portion size. I think that might be the culprit. I think on top of certain foods that definitely create more gas inside of me and make a major painful bloat, the portion size affects the bloat. There's a cat here all over me, of course. So I really think I'm down to a point where I can tolerate about 3 spoonfuls of something, and that's it. Everything more than that creates bloat. So my fiance was like, well, why don't you try eating 3 spoonfuls of, no more than 3 spoonfuls, but several times a day. So eat 5 times, but just like, stop after the 3rd spoonful. So like maybe you make one thing that day, cause like yesterday, what did I have? I had little, vegetable Thai veggie, dumplings. Then he was like, maybe the flour got to, but I don't think it's the flour because I've tolerated other things like pasta. But when I was eating the pasta, I guess I was eating small portions, and that's why it didn't bug me as much. I was eating these and they were delicious. And so I ate probably like half the pack. That was too much already. I should have eaten just 2, maybe 3 tops. Stopped maybe for the day or at least a good chunk of time. Because what I did was I ate half the pack in the morning, and then when I came back later on in the afternoon when I got hungry again, I ate the other half of the pack. There's probably 16 dumplings in the package, something like that. So that was probably too many in a day. Well, God, now that I think of it, now that I say it out loud, it's too many a day without a balloon. But in my mind, it was like, well, they're very thin. They're very thin, and they're actually pretty small. And they don't have anything in. They're literally just vegetables. That was too much. So that's my big revelation. I think portion size. My nutritionist had been really hounding me on that, like portion size, nothing bigger than the palm of your hand. But I think that is even too big for me right now. My stomach just likes to create a lot of gas from everything that goes in it. So I think 3 spoonfuls, and that's it. I know my nutritionist said this to me too. I have to up my liquid intake. She said, count all the liquids that you drink, but get at least 8 glasses of something in you. And even though I'm trying to drink as much as I can, I know every day I get to the end and I have not drunk the minimum, which is the 8 glasses, and certainly not like what I'm actually supposed to drink, which is like half your weight in pounds in ounces, like half your pound weight in ounces. So at 200 plus pounds, I should be drinking 100 plus ounces of water or liquid a day. I'm definitely not getting that. Um, but I drink 4 or 5 things a day, maybe 6 sometimes, and I feel sloshy. Like I feel like I'm a waterbed. Um, the other thing I wanted to say is because of this particular diet, or I guess because I'm mindful of drinking the protein drinks and the extra hydrating drinks, there's a lot of plastic in my apartment. Like I'm consuming a lot of things in plastics. That wasn't really my life before, and I kind of don't like that. I'm sort of not about that. I'm not an eco warrior, but like that is something in the past I've been a little bit mindful of. Like, what can I get that's not in a plastic container that's going to stay on this planet forever and ever? Amen. So I'm a little bit irritated by that. And I need to really think hard about just adjusting things so that I'm eating more things that I can make, or things that come in something reusable, or that isn't at least not plastic, or even styrofoam. Like I bought a bunch of cup noodles last week because I liked the broth was really great in them, and I was like, oh, great, now I got like a cabinet with a box full of styrofoam. Like, what year am I in? What's happening? Anyway, that's just me. Sorry, I still feel so nasal. Oh, this has nothing to do with the balloon, but my allergies. This morning I woke up and I am kind of nasal and a little bit congested now, but nowhere near as congested as I normally am when I wake up. Normally when I wake up, it's like I have a head cold. I'm coughing, I'm sneezing, there's everything coming out of me, and that lasts for a good hour and a half. Had none of it today. I left the window open when I slept, and it was cold, and I didn't like it because I'm always worried about something flying in or crawling in, even though whatever. Here's the thing. I used to live in an apartment a long time ago, actually not that long ago, 2 years ago, that was lovely, but it's embarrassing to say. It had an insect problem, a big insect problem. And I ended up leaving the apartment because of that. The landlady was not, like, I kept bringing it up, and she was like, yeah, I'll send an exterminator. And I was like, well, when, like tomorrow, and that tomorrow, like that went on for far too many, like, I think I lived there for 2.5 years. Like that went on way too long. And I was like, yeah, I'm getting out of here. At the end, it was like particularly pandemic, and like, no. And what was weird to me is I lived in an apartment building, and all the neighbors would see each other all the time. And like, I would mention it, like, what about this and they'd all be like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah. Like, what, when are we rising up? When are we not paying the rent until she gets an exterminator in here? Like, no one seemed to be upset about it. And I was like, well, I can't live with this. Like, I don't, no, I'm not living with the New York City wildlife running through my apartment whenever it wants. Like, I remember one point, I was in my bathroom and I saw a thing crawling in the window, and I just started screaming. And it was like it was like this. That's why they'll never die. That's why those things are always evolve and adapt to the times. Like, it was like it had ears, and it like heard me screaming, and it stopped and was like, oh, okay. And it walked back out. I was like, what the hell? I can't live. No. So I got very used to keeping my windows closed. I was terrified of those things, whatever. Anyway, so I don't like sleeping with the windows open, even though the place where I live now is so clean, so much better. Never had an issue with anything like that, but I still am traumatized. Anyway, that's a walk down a negative memory lane. Point is, I feel better just from the allergies. But if that means I have to sleep with the window open all night, every night, I'm going to have to find something that will cover, some kind of netting or something to give me a window screen, because on these high rises they don't have window screens. It's like, ugh. Anyway, there it is. Period with a balloon. My new idea about portion size and portion control. That's what day 28 is about. That's it.